and welcome in or welcome back. It's a Monkey Mar. Before we get into today's video, please make sure you click the like, the subscribe, and the bell for notifications. Hey guys, welcome in. Let's get into the September 24th, 2021 search for Brian Laundrie. I have been watching all day from work, and I do see that they are moving the search to the east. I've got a couple updates with helicopter footage, and I forget her name. She was out there today on WFLA talking about Border Ranch Road and South Moon Drive, and about going straight. You guys will see what I'm talking about, but this is Border Road. And maybe this is Border Road where she says it turns into a dirt road. I'm going to have to go back and see exactly where she is standing and where she speaks about making the left. So maybe this is where the car is parked. I hope today is the day that they catch Brian Laundrie and put all of this madness to a rest. We know that Gabby's service is on Sunday, so hopefully by Sunday they can put some closure to where he's at for Gabby's family. His parents, I really don't care if they know where their kid is at this point. I know. I'm horrible. With that, guys, let's get into it.
I was just informed here a short time ago that right before Eagle 8 HD was diverted to Hillsborough County, that Paul left us a Look Live report here. So this was Paul Lamison about an hour ago here over the Carlton Reserve.
We're over the Carlton Reserve, and you're looking at the command center of the manhunt for Brian Laundrie. The only new breaking news that we have so far today is the temporary flight restriction, or TFR, is up at 1,200 feet. It had been down to 400 feet, really to prevent drones from flying and getting in the way of the searchers. Right now it's up to 1,200 feet, so we are flying at 1,500 feet above the TFR. The difference is we're just a little higher than normal, so we can still see the area, and we're still watching the search area, and we're still watching as they fan out into this vast area of Carlton Reserve to search. And we'll be over here and let you know if anything new happens in Eagle 8 HD. Paul Lamison, 8 on your side.
What a development last night, though, with the federal warrant. I mean, that kind of came out of nowhere from FBI office in Denver. That was a big deal because obviously this turns this into a manhunt now, and this is the first day of searching for someone who's wanted as opposed to someone who's missing in this case. So
we'll come back to actually.
He's running so fast we don't even see him. He's so busy.
A lot of touchscreens here. Now we have Allison and here on screen. Hey there, Allison. What do you got? What's going on there where you're standing? I'm sure the search efforts, of course, the manhunt continues on, and we were talking whether or not there's new life here in these search efforts, in this manhunt that is ongoing here for Brian Laundrie now that we have a federal arrest warrant.
Yeah, so day 6 of ground searches out here at the Carlton Reserve. You know, there hasn't been as much activity from what we could see, obviously, at the entrance. Of course, we cannot go inside. I know when Paul was flying overhead earlier, he saw them meeting right around 9:30-ish. And then shortly after that, when he flew back out, he was texting me. He let me know that it appears that the search efforts today are actually a little bit over on the east side, closer to where they were searching over the weekend. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the ground searches appeared to be focused more on this Venice side, but that's kind of where he was looking today, you know, from the chopper, obviously having to be a little higher up today because of those flight restrictions. But he didn't see anything. He was asking me if I was aware that they moved somewhere else, but he finally made it over to the other side. Of course, it's 25,000 acres, so it's a pretty large preserve out here, and noticed that some more of the activity was actually happening on the other side, the Northport side of all this, by the Mayacahatchee Creek Park, I believe is what it's called. Forgive me if I'm not saying that exactly right. But yeah, so that's kind of an interesting development today. Of course, we've seen those swamp buggies, the ATVs. Of course, we've seen some of those underwater. We've seen the boats, the divers, all that over the last couple of days. But in terms of activity coming in and out today, it has been kind of slow, honestly, compared to the last couple of days. One thing that we do know, there has been a lot more manpower out here. Yesterday, the most manpower we have seen out here all week, I think 75 individuals from 16 different agencies, which was a big jump from what we were seeing earlier in the week.
Yeah, Allison, hey, it's Josh. Good to see you again. I was out there with you on Monday in front of the house in that torrential downpour. So first question, have you seen rain like that since you've been out there?
No, thankfully not, for all of us, right? Especially for those crews out there. You know, I'm lucky enough to have an umbrella overhead protecting me from the sun right now, but yeah, the umbrellas the other day when we were getting those torrential downpours really weren't doing us much good because it was just such heavy rain. So I can't imagine what that must have been like for the people who are out here searching. But no, thankfully not. It's actually been a bit drier. I was talking to JB about that yesterday. You know, the oppressive heat, I think when you were out here, was definitely oppressive heat. It was very humid. As soon as you step out of your car, you start sweating. It's actually been a little bit drier out here, which I think is good for everyone. It's good for us, and it's definitely good for, you know, the folks who are out there searching in this heat.
Yeah, great. And you know, a lot of people are talking about that reserve still, even though we've been out there for many days, and just trying to gain an idea of the sheer expanse, how big it is, that 25,000 acres. But when you're out in front there, are there several roads that go into it, or is there one entry point? How is that broken down when you kind of drive around the perimeter?
So we're actually standing on Border Road right now, and if you look behind me here, I'll have Justin kind of zoom in. There's kind of that dirt, it turns into from a pavement road into a dirt road, and that is Border Road continuing on. And that appears to be kind of like their southern boundary line of the search, according to what Paul has seen over the last couple of days from the sky. And where that sheriff's office vehicle is right there on the left, on the north end here of Border Road, there is another roadway that kind of goes up and around. So we've seen officers, deputies coming in from actually both, more so making that left turn here onto South Moon Drive, but we have seen some also going straight down Border. But again, you know, in terms of seeing activity from here, we really can't see much except for them coming in and out, coming in the morning, and then of course coming out in the evening with all of that gear covered in mud, really.
Hey, just got a quick question from Eli Wolf on my Twitter account asking, will there be a live stream feed for the Gabby service? Eli, good question. I'll look into that to see if we can get an answer for you, because that, again, is on Sunday from 12 to 5, I believe. So that is open to the public. We will track that information down. But again, that just came out earlier today, so we will find out. Allison Henning is live outside at the Carlton Reserve. You've been out there a few days now, so you say not too much excitement actually out there today. Is it, you know, the governor put out a tweet the other day saying he was going to increase resources for, you know, those who are out there working. Yesterday, 75 crews, 16 different agencies, or 75 individuals. Is it a bigger increase today that you've noticed, or about the same?
You know, actually, we don't have that information just yet. We kind of stay in touch with Northport PD because they are kind of the lead in terms of this local search under, of course, the FBI's criminal investigation that's ongoing. And they usually send us an update right about now. I'm actually going to peek in my email here real quick and see if we do have any sort of an update from them.
Yeah,
not that I see just yet.
Okay, while you do that, JB stepped away and I don't have access to the comments. So if you guys want to leave comments on twitter.com/WFLA Josh, I can grab some right here, like Eli's question just now. And if you have any questions for Allison, let me know.
Yeah, I don't see an update from Northport PD just yet, but usually we get that probably within the next hour, and they've been doing a really good job of telling us exactly how many people are out there. I think on Tuesday it was 40, 50, the next day 10, 12 more, and then of course 75 yesterday. And I believe when they first started this, it was 8 agencies. So they've doubled the number of agencies that are out here now, of course, from all across the region. We've seen Bradenton, and then there's of course the state agencies. We've seen FWC, actually FHP was out here yesterday. I know they were utilizing their drones as part of the search yesterday. So yeah, it's really pretty expansive.
You know, and it's interesting, this is the first day of the search after the federal warrant went out, and this changed from a missing person investigation now to a criminal investigation and a manhunt, essentially. I'm curious to know if they are going to change their strategy at all. I mean, their strategy is pretty broad, just search as much as you can with the fewest amount of resources you have. But I'm anxious to see if they say anything about the fact that now there's a warrant and there's more immediacy to find this guy.
Right, yeah, I'm curious about that too. We talked about, I feel like the investigation or the search out here yesterday intensified a little bit just in terms of those numbers, but of course we got that information about that warrant later in the day. So yeah, I'm curious to see that as well. It's interesting that Paul noticed them kind of focusing on the other end today, because it has been pretty consistent on this side, pretty focused actually. I know yesterday the commander who is leading this for Northport Police, he told us that basically what they were doing is breaking these teams into different groups and sending them to specific areas that they had marked, and then doing a line search in those areas or a grid search through those areas. Not sure if that strategy has changed today. Obviously they are in a different area, so we'll have to kind of wait and see in terms of what kind of coordinated efforts are happening today, especially if we're talking about the other side of this preserve. I mean, we're talking about different cities. I'm in Venice right now. The other side is on the Northport end, closer to the Laundrie's house, actually.
That's how big it is. Yeah, it's crazy. I've been waiting for numbers from them. I don't think I've heard anything about the like when there's a wildfire, it's 20% contained. When there's a search like this, is it 50% covered? Have they given you any kind of number of how much ground they have covered since the start of this search? So
I did ask that question to Northport Police yesterday, and I asked either, for an acreage count, obviously 25,000 acres, or I asked for a percentage of the total. Unfortunately, he was not able to give me an exact number. He said, we've covered thousands. They've been doing those ground searches. They also did aerial searches. He said, technically from the aerial perspective, we've been able to cover it all, but from the ground searches, he wasn't able to give me even a percentage on that.
Right. And no idea of any upcoming news conferences at all. Rich Jansen wants to know if police or FBI stated are going to give a news conference on the search, the arrest warrant, or anything. Have we heard internally on any news conferences coming up? I haven't specifically. I don't know if you have.
No, I have not either. And, I wonder if that would happen here or if that would happen somewhere else. Of course, we've got, the New York element, we've got the element out west, and we've got the element here in Sarasota County. So
right.
Not that I have heard, and that information I believe would come through FBI Denver at this point.
The boss on Twitter, on my Twitter account, asking this question: is today expected to be the final day searching the reserve? When will it be open to the public? So we assume it's closed to the public because it's an active search. Do they have any idea when that could resume, or it's kind of a day-by-day thing?
Yeah, I think it's a day-by-day thing. This area, I think it's pretty heavily traveled by people who like to bike, right? So we've seen people trying to go in to try and get on the trails out here. Actually, I talked to one guy who lives in Nokomis. He said this is a pretty regular spot for him to come, not so much in the rainy season, but he did come to check it out today, but he was not able to get on the property. So I imagine as long as this search is going on and as long as there is probably an open investigation, it's probably going to be shut down to the public for some time until, until they clear this area, really.
Colleen Kane asks, has there been confirmed information to indicate that Brian even entered this reserve? And as far as I'm concerned, it was mostly coming from the parents saying he had mentioned to them, according to them, that he went there to meditate. His car was there. They went to pick up the car from the reserve, and I think that's what led the authorities to start searching this area. And again, yesterday we had a pretty in-depth conversation, JB and I, about how we don't know everything, obviously, the police know. And this could be, they could have a lot more evidence as to why he could be there, and if that's even the case. But as to answer your question, Colleen, I don't think we have definitive proof that he was spotted there or was seen there, unless, Allison, you have something different.
No, that's right, Josh. So, I mean, it's 1 week now. Today marks 1 week since Brian Laundrie's parents reported him missing when, they invited the officers with the Northport Police Department, the FBI, into their home, and then they came out and we later learned that's what they were talking about, that he is missing. So all that information, they said that they had last seen him on Tuesday, I believe it was the 14th, and they said that, he left with hiking backpack and everything like that. And they said that he came out here. But again, all that information is according to the parents, and that's the information that law enforcement is going off of. But in terms of withholding information, they've been saying this since the beginning. Obviously, this is a very complex investigation. It covers so much ground. And they said that's really important for them to do, to protect the integrity of it, because there are so many different elements in different places. Right. There's social media, there's tips coming in from people all across the country. So there's definitely, I think, a lot of information that we do not know, and there's a reason for that.
JB's back. Did you get your phone call?
I did, and I can share some details.
Oh.
Allison, anything else before we let you go? I've been off stream here for just a moment, but anything else before we let you go?
No, that's it for now. I mean, we're going to keep monitoring the activity out here, and I'll have reports at 4, 5, and 6 tonight, so anything new, we'll certainly be including it in those reports.
Quick question, Allison. One more last question from Shelby. She wants to know from Allison if you've seen the lawyer for the Laundries out there, either at the home or the search area at all through your time out there.
No, we have not. Yesterday, actually, when we saw that vehicle leaving the property and everything with a marked police vehicle, we later learned that they went to Orlando to meet with their attorney. I was curious, where did they go? Did they go to the police department?
Yeah.
Did they go to the site here? But yeah, no, we found out they went to Orlando to meet with the attorney. But no, we have not seen the family or any attorneys out here on the grounds that we have at least been made aware of, or been able to see with our own eyes at least.
8 on your sides. Allison Henning reporting for us at Carlton Reserve.
All right, guys, drop them comments, drop them opinions. And with that, it is a wrap. I want to thank you all for coming in. Thank you for watching. Please like or dislike, whichever you prefer, and subscribe. Everyone have a good day or a good night wherever you are in the world, and stay vigilant. I am out.